So I'll start with this quote. The screen is a window through which one sees a virtual world. The challenge is to make that world look real, act real, sound real, and feel real. Does anyone know who this chap is or when he said this? Okay, I'll tell you. It's a chap called Ivan Sutherland, and he said it in 1965. And I found out last year that he's still alive. He did a talk at SIGGRAPH in the US, and I got to have a photo of him. But he is the absolute godfather of AR, VR, and he created the very first tracked AR headset, as you can see on the right, in 1967, popularly known as the Sword of Damocles because of the way it hung over your head like that. So, it's an experience thing. This is like the biggest message, really. When you're teaching your kids to ride a bike, you give them a PowerPoint like this slide here, or do you ask them to watch a video and then by the end of it expect them to get on a bike and get it? Has that ever happened ever? I don't think so. The only way you can learn something really is to have the experience of it and to get some kind of feedback about what you're doing. And VR is the closest medium that we have right now, apart from actually doing it, for the brain to think it's doing something and getting an experience about it. So that's kind of the key thing. And there's a lot of other things that it does that other mediums don't really do. And again, I want you to really kind of focus on the value, focus on the understanding here. It's a one-to-one experience, so no other medium can do that. A screen can make things big, but it's not necessarily one-to-one. And when it's one-to-one, we understand things in relation to ourselves. It's true 3D. It's not like a 3D film in a cinema. It's true 3D. And if you move about, you can see things from different angles. I won't go through them all, but no guesswork. That's the key thing in enterprise. You want to get everyone on the same page as quickly as possible to understand what it is you're designing, you're creating, and to get everyone on the same page. And the other one here, retention rates in VR are massive compared to traditional 2D medium, which are like 50%, jumps to 85%. So you start to string these elements together and you have a very powerful medium. And it's taking off everywhere. So I'll just go through a few proven use cases. Collaboration is the next big thing now, because the first kind of VR experiences were all solo kinds of things. You go into an experience on your own, and everyone else is asking you what it's like. What can you see? And you might kind of show it on a screen, but looking at a screen is not anything like being in VR. And a lot of the VR I'm going to talk about is higher end VR, where it's computer-generated content, but it doesn't. They have a weekly kind of design jam where they invite people from other offices to jump in, and they're actually standing in a building that they might be designing right now. And they've had 49 people all jump into one of these jams and all be walking around inside an actual building that they're designing and all talking about it and giving feedback about it. Facilities and remote assistant is really exciting to me. Prototyping and design review. So there's all the obvious things like marketing, which we've all seen, but these are the exciting areas. Prototyping in VR, you can actually start designing things within VR, not doing it all on a computer with your boring 2D screen and then having a look at it, but actually starting to develop in VR. And a ton of others. These are all proven use cases now that are being used across so many industries. to give you an idea, these are all the industries that have found proven use cases, and I'm sure I missed some. I'm sure there's others as well. And I haven't got time to take you through them all, but I'll jump you into a few. Automotive at the top, you can see last year Volkswagen trained 10,000 factory employees in VR. So that's not kind of proof of concept stuff anymore. That's, we get it. We know this adds a lot of value and we want to start using this properly. So something else to kind of realize now is that this is, for many people, this has moved past that stage of, oh, this could be valuable, to this really is valuable. Audi using VR in 1,000 showrooms to innovate the sales process. So a lot of people have moved away from going into showrooms. They can do most things online these days. And how do you get people back into the showrooms? Otherwise, if people do go to a showroom, they've already seen it online and they just want to get a discount. But now, if you've got a VR setup in a showroom and you can actually walk around and configure a car, you're adding more and more options back on. The base price of the car, there's not a high margin on it, but all the options, there's a high margin on it. So you're building up your car back up. You feel like it's your car because you've just spent half an hour walking around it and getting it just as you like it, and you don't want to part with it at the end of that process, and you're more likely to buy it. So that's innovating the sales process. It's not just enhancing the sales process. And a ton of other things which I won't walk through. In aerospace, Bell helicopters, some of you might have seen, there's a great video online. They were using the HTC Vive to design a next generation helicopter. 6 years is the normal time it takes to design a helicopter. They did it in 6 months. The key thing was the kind of the constant iteration that normally has to happen, making physical prototypes and then saying, no, that's not going to work. It can all be done in VR. You can get the pilots into the thing that you're designing and say, would this work? Because they wanted to do a next generation thing. Get the feedback, say, no, that wouldn't work. You need to change this and that, and they can just do it straight away. BAE systems, 50% reduction in assembly times and 40% faster training. These are big numbers, and as you can see from the others as well, they're not just kind of, ooh, maybe this could be something. This is something. Healthcare, live surgery assistance with MR, using things like the HoloLens, if you've seen the latest kind of advert for that, or even just using VR before an operation to blow up a kind of scan, see a tumour, and really understand it is really powerful. And we've got people talking about healthcare today, so you can look forward to hearing much more about these use cases. A bit about the numbers. So there's so many different estimates now. They're all, slightly pie in the sky to some extent, but they all are very favourable, and they're all being pushed up now. Two I found. This one's around 700 billion. This one's over 800 billion by 2025. It's absolutely phenomenal with 63% growth. And then both these facts are out in February, so they're very recent. And the APAC countries are going to lead VR by 2024. That's really exciting for you guys. It's really going to start taking off. This just shows a kind of breakdown of the number of companies using XR technologies. Education's really growing massively. AC, architecture, engineering, construction, and manufacturing. You see they're really dominating. This isn't necessarily kind of expenditure. Automotive companies are probably spending the most, and military and various other things. But in terms of kind of number of companies using it, this is what it's looking like. And in terms of applications, you can see this is from Q4 2018. Training is just accelerating away now. Almost every industry needs to have training. So people are realizing, as I talked about the 85%, how much retention there is of information. People are getting it first time. There's more of a muscle memory. They feel like they've actually done things already when they've only done it in VR. And then the other three big areas: design, research, and sales, are kind of about equal, and everything else is in other. And this graph I like because it shows the difference between companies that are already using XR technologies and those that are yet to use it. And they were asked whether they're going to be investing in XR in the next year. And those that are already using XR, 63% said yes, definitely, as opposed to only 32% of those that aren't using it already. Whereas 14% said maybe we'll consider it, but already using it, against 50% who aren't using it. And that's a great kind of thing to see, because it proves that it's not a fad. People that are already using it are the ones that are wanting to invest more in it. So that's it's a very comforting kind of graph. So know what you need. There's obviously many types of VR, and I don't want to go through them all, but as people who are going to be getting into it, you don't want to just latch onto one type of VR and try and apply it to everything. You want to understand at least all of these and try all of these and understand what one's good at as opposed to another, and when they're useful. What you find is a lot of people they invest in one type of technology and then they try and apply it everywhere, saying, yeah, this is the best kind of thing. And as consultants, we really kind of shy away from that. We say, well, there's a lot of different solutions out there. There's a lot of types of content. You can sketch in VR, you can photograph, you can do photogrammetry, you can laser scan, you can 3D model, you can generate now. So computational modeling, you can actually use the computers to generate 3D models using AI or automatically. So you've got to be aware of all these different types of content so that you can know when to apply them. And all the different software as well. There's a lot of one-button solutions, we call them now, where if you don't have skilled workers, you can use programs like Inkscape. That's more in the AEC world, but there's lots of others like that. And you can pretty much load them as a plugin into your CAD program, press a button, and it will shoot it into a VR headset. And some are even live. If you make changes in VR, it will revert back into your CAD program. And then you've got things like game engines now, which are the key way to make high-end VR. Unity and Unreal being the key ones. Web VR coming along. That will be really exciting, kind of as it comes, because everything else is kind of separate, and all the experiences are all discrete. Whereas with Web VR, things will start to join up. I won't go through all of these. So the key thing is finding value. And I'll just show you this graph about data, because it's not about VR, and AR is not an end point. It's just a kind of stage, and it starts with having 3D data, and that 3D data could be kind of photogrammetry, or it could be modeling. It's just having a 360 is a very kind of limited type of VR. It's not, you can't move about in it, and it's only slightly immersive. So we need to kind of move beyond, and having 3D data as the starting point. And more companies are obviously kind of working in 3D for their product design. And the next step above that, so this is showing you all the stages and where immersive kind of technology fits, is real-time rendering. So once you've got 3D data, you can then start to render it in real time. And that's where these game engines are coming in. They allow you to spin things around, look at things very quickly from different angles. you're not kind of rendering it and waiting hours to see what it's going to look like. You're seeing it straight away. And then you get, at number 3, you get the immersive visualization layer, which implies that you've got a real-time rendering layer, which implies you've got a 3D data layer. And the immersive visualization is the things I told you before, the one-to-one understanding of the space and how it relates to you. It's not like these are all getting, like you always want to have immersive visualization. It's, if you've got 10 people in a room and you just want to talk about your building or whatever, where it is, then don't put one person at a time in VR, just bring it up on a big screen, use an Xbox controller to move about, and that's the best way of communicating the space. So again, understand what each medium's for, and VR is just an output, like a screen, but you've got to have your real-time data. And then at 4, we then need to make that data intelligent through IoT, AI, deep learning, analytics. We can understand what people are doing in VR, what their behavior is, or even in the real world, and then we can pull that data into a digital twin, as it's called, a copy of a real world space. And then what I'm putting at number 5 is process innovation. So the ultimate value of this knowledge is to transform business processes completely, driving down cost and risk while improving efficiency and creating innovation. So instead of just making small improvements inside a company, to understand that you are now able to do things in completely new ways, and you can innovate the entire workflow cycle of things. So by being aware of the whole kind of stack, it helps to put VR in perspective. So who will get the most value right now? This is a really, really important question which we talk to people about. So this chap is using one of the first mobile phones. It's a real picture from so many years ago. And imagine if you were selling these phones at the time and someone said to you, well, it's very big and it's very clunky and the audio quality is not particularly very good. I think I'll wait. I'll wait until it gets a lot smaller. Would you just say, well, you're right, it is a bit big and clunky and I'm a bit embarrassed about it, to be honest, and I think we should wait? Or would you say, either I'm talking to the wrong person, or B, they don't get this? Because this chap gets it. He does not care that this phone is big and clunky. He can make calls when he's out and about, he can do deals, he doesn't have to stand in line like the other chap, and he's not complaining about the size of the phone. So that's really important. Who will get the most value right now? Obviously your grandmother also likes to use a phone, but she's not going to be an early adopter because for her it is too big or too expensive or all the other things. So understand who can actually get value out of it right now. It's not an IT solution, so this is another mistake we see where companies ask their IT departments to get a headset or explain it or try it out. IT might order it and they might implement it, but it's not really an IT solution, it's a business solution. And the guys in the boardroom need to understand the potential of this based on the stats I showed you before of how companies are doing things in a tenth of the time or saving half their costs. The board needs to know about that, and if they did know about it, they would help drive it. VR is not like any other medium because you can't look away. So if you're reading a magazine or you're watching TV, someone comes in, you can look up. In VR, if you turn around, you're still in VR. So you have people's undivided attention, and you should respect that fact and make the most of that fact that they can't get out. So don't think it's funny to be kind of scary or keep bombarding them with stuff. they'll understand a lot more because of that fact they can't be distracted. Feedback is very different with VR. If you show people a kind of two-dimensional idea of what it is you're designing, you'll get quite intellectual feedback about it. Or if you get any emotional feedback, you're getting emotional feedback about the 2D rendering that you're showing them. And people mistake that for feedback about the thing that they're designing. So if you show people things in VR, the same thing, but as a kind of three-dimensional model, often you'll get very different feedback about the same thing. And that's the feedback that you're more interested in. Why? Because that's the feedback that's much closer to what they would give if they were in the finished thing. So they might say they don't like it when you show them a picture, and then they do like it in VR, or the other way around. So that's the kind of the power of it. People trust their own viewpoint. So again, showing someone a 2D rendering is your viewpoint. People will be fairly sure that you've chosen this viewpoint quite carefully to best show off whatever it is you're designing. And if you can put them in VR, then that establishes a level of trust that you're saying, I don't mind where you go or where you look. And people then feel like they understand what it is, and a lot of designers worry that the client's going to get too involved or start kind of fussing about it too much, but actually the converse happens. The client eases off, they feel like they know what's going on, they know that they can always jump in again and check anything, and lets the designer get on with it. So, yeah, people trust their own viewpoint or point of view. Lead, don't follow. So my key message is for people to roll up their sleeves, just like me, and start learning. You can't keep waiting for everyone else to work it out. The reason why the automotive companies and the aerospace companies are so far ahead is because they've been doing this for 20 years. They've been constantly pushing at technology to see how they can get the most out of it. And if you want to develop businesses or get business, you need to understand it for yourselves, where it adds value. And unfortunately, that doesn't mean spending a bit of money. So I estimate $3,000. This is a laptop that can run VR and a headset. They're called Windows Mixed Reality headsets. They're designed by Microsoft that went out to about 5 other companies. Dell have one, HP have one. They're 6 degrees of freedom, they do room scale, they don't need the sensors like an Oculus Rift or a Vive, they do their own tracking, so that's all you need, just those 2 items. You can travel with them, and you can be showing clients, or you can be just constantly trying stuff out, having a look at things that people have done, and understanding it for yourself. Putting your own content in, using some of these tools that I talked about, and actually seeing where it helps. And this is the kind of the message is to, you've got to understand it for yourselves. You can't keep letting other people tell you. It's an experience thing, as I said about the bike right at the beginning. Don't find customers for your products, find products for your customers. Famous marketing chap said that. That's very true. The customers might be your own staff. They could be anyone with a need. They don't have to be clients. But what is the actual business issue that you're trying to solve? In this is an actual project we worked on where they were building some houses and apartments. They wanted to sell them off plan. They were going to build one kind of showroom, but they hadn't got that ready by the time they needed to start selling. And what was the solution? To build the entire complex in VR and let people walk around, even though there wasn't a physical showroom yet, and start selling them off plan, which they did. And this is done in a game engine, Unreal, and you can walk around the entire house. You can change options on the floor and what have you, and it's way better than looking at the renderings. As I talked about earlier, you have your own point of view. You feel like you understand it. Create a proof of concept at minimal expense. Get feedback on it from both internal and external stakeholders. So a lot of companies will get a bit carried away. They'll just start pushing expensive solutions to you. As consultants, we're against that. We want people to get value from even a small amount of spending. So proof of concept is a way of, you want to spend as little as possible and see whether that adds value. This is a live project working with the Lifeboat Institute in the UK. It sounds absolutely crazy. They wanted to know whether they could use MR from a boat to see safe channels. So in a lot of areas there's sandbanks under the water, you can't see them, people run aground. So we did a proof of concept project to allow you to see all the safe channels over the water. They're locked, they're spatially locked in place, and you can drive your boat down the channel. We use modified HoloLenses with GPS, and it worked perfectly as a proof of concept. And we didn't spend that much money. We found a university doctor of engineering, and he did it. So yeah, what is the minimum investment needed to implement something that starts giving immediate value? Time or money saved will then help fund a bigger solution and help convince people of the importance of doing it. If you spend all your money straight away on a solution that you don't you'll get value straight away. You know, the technology's moving so fast, it will be on a shelf within a year, and you won't get funding for the next project. So spend a little bit, get a lot of value out of it, and you'll get more funding to do the next thing or to scale that thing. Get buy-in from the highest level. So coming back to what I was talking about, it's not an IT thing. When directors get it, when they understand the business case, they'll help. No single company can deliver everything, so there's a lot of parts to this, and that's the kind of diagram that I have, which just maps out a lot of the different parts of the spectrum. It's still XR, it's all of it's XR, but there's a lot of parts to it, and you need to get help from many different people sometimes to put this together. Now this is kind of later, I'm not saying right from the beginning you do all of this. You do you work out how to add value, you do some kind of proof of concept, but eventually you might need help. You might want funding, you might need to get partners to create training material for you and what have you. So change the world. Immersive spatial technologies are not better computers or better screens, they're whole new media that can do things you've never been able to do before. Train in new ways, design in new ways. So this is the kind of the prototyping type of stuff I mentioned, where you can just now draw, not just, don't know if you know Tilt Brush. Tilt Brush allows you to paint in three-dimensional space. It's kind of one of the best things to give someone who's never done VR before. But now the tools are moving on to the next level, where you can draw a line, but then you can pick that line up and you can move it, or you can type in a numerical number and it will jump. So that's the kind of next level of designing in VR. Build in new ways. There's no ambiguity here when you can actually see the plans overlaid in front of you. Understand in new ways, entertain in new ways, express in new ways. This chap created this sculpture completely in VR and then had it 3D printed for a museum. So that's like a kind of a whole new way of expressing itself. Collaborate in new ways. So I was talking about that before. When multiple people are in VR, it stops becoming such a technical thing. You don't even think about the resolution anymore. You You just start interacting with each other. It's very playful. You get your marker pens and you're kind of scribbling notes or post-it notes, and you can save the session, you can jump back in, you can rewind it. It's very powerful. So that's kind of collaborative stuff. Gain a first-hand experience of other people. So that's a very powerful message, because up until this point of time, it's been very hard to really kind of have empathy and really understand someone else's perspective, what it's like to be in their shoes. And VR's changing that. A lot of charities have found this, the waves. Well, there's a load of things over there, but there's a lot of charities. The Clouds Over Sidra one that was got a lot of people to understand what it's like in a war-torn area, and to want to help. IKEA allowing you to switch to a child's height, or what it's like to be in a wheelchair. So for the first time, we can really have the perspective of someone else and start to understand the world as they do. We can help people wherever they are, so using remote assistance, we can come to the aid of people. One expert can help 100 people instead of just 2 people. So this will help the way we do things. We can help a lot more people. We can design more human-centric solutions because of the one-to-one thing that I talked about, and being able to see our hands in VR. We can test spaces, we can build things, we can design things that work much better. The Airbus example, where they saved 30%, they explored 5 times more ideas for a plane, for a new plane, in the time frame that they had. And as a result, they designed a much more exciting aeroplane by having time to explore different ideas. Einstein said, reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. VR and the real world are not that different. They're constructs of the mind from various sensory stimuli. People get a bit worried about VR, and it's not real, and we should be spending time in the real world, not in a fake world. That kind of, you still get that a lot. When you go home and you put the stereo on and you listen to fake music, do you obsess about that? It's virtual. It's not really happening live. Who cares? It's just sensory input. With new perspectives that VR enables, we might better understand ourselves, each other, and the world around us. With deeper understanding of things, perhaps we can start to make the world a very much better place for all. Thank you.